Greetings, YouTube. As I said when I did my review of the Monstronomicon Bestiary, within every category there's going to be something you consider to be the best, the absolute top notch. And as a gamer and a collector of games, I own a lot of gaming modules. Most of them I purchased back in 1st edition and some 2nd edition. I didn't buy many things since 3rd edition has been released. A couple here and there, and my wife got me some as a gift in a grab bag for Christmas a couple of years ago. I even have some over here on CD, right? Which is very convenient if I want to pull them up on my system. Dungeon Crawl Classics, I believe, yes. But in my collection, there is one module that I love more than all the rest, and that's this. Game World's 1st edition GW1 Legion of Gold. Printed in 1981, written by Gary Gygax with Luke Gygax and Paul Reich III. It states that it is for beginning and intermediate level players. It is called an exploration module. Now this is not one cohesive adventure. This is really a series of mini adventures. And it is that aspect that I have not only found incredibly useful, but to my mind makes this module timeless. Now, first of all, you have the classic kind of maps that come with it. You open like this, and it's got this over here is the actual setting for the Legion of Gold proper. Up there we have a nest of insects. And we have some more maps over here. And this is a key and such like thing like that. And then we have a map of what a absolute control panel looks like if the player characters were looking at this proper. And one of the things I loved about this was the artwork. Yes, I know it's a little cheesy, but I love Errol Otis. I think he was the absolute quintessential artist when it came to what D&D and Game World for me was. I love that Catkin picture. I've got that Catkin picture someplace on my hard drive. I know I do. Now, what's great about this is that you were presented with a location, the Fortress of Horn, and all of the vehicles, all of the adventures take place from that location. I just said vehicle because I just happened to see it on the listing here, and you can run this as a cohesive, linked group of adventures, or you can just pick and choose them and use them as you see fit. I've done both. I've run this in 1st edition, 2nd edition, and 3rd edition Gamma World. I've also used some of this in 1st edition, 2nd edition, Dungeons and Dragons, and I think I might have used part of it in 3rd edition at one point. The reason I could do this is because a good adventure is a good adventure, regardless of what the setting is. And the first main setting is the Buggles, which is a nest of semi-intelligent insects which are preying on the locals, and they're capturing people, and they're essentially going to use them as live nesting food for their young, which is a very bad way to go. And the player characters are, of course, supposed to go down into this huge underground den, very much reminiscent of the 1950s film Them, and rescue people. The next is a series called The Shelters. Now, the Shelters were a bunch of pre-apocalyptic bomb shelters. And they stumble upon these things, and within these things are the remains of things from their past, because these people used these things in the hopes they would survive the apocalypse. And some may have, and some definitely didn't. Now, this is incredibly reminiscent for me of the movie A Boy and His Dog, and of course the short story A Boy and His Dog, because it just felt so much like the scene where the main character goes into a shelter in seeking both food and a woman. And then we have the next is the Subaquan Laboratory. Now, I love aquatic adventures. In every campaign I have ever run, the genre is immaterial. I run aquatic adventures. I just think they're cool. Diving equipment fascinates me. Submersibles fascinate me. It's just, I think it's a wonderful way of getting the characters out of their standard environment, literally, and making them try something different. And this setting is no different. It's an underwater base populated with androids, and what are they doing? It's sinister kind of things, you know what I mean? And I just found it hit every note for me of what an underwater adventure should be. And you get this really cool little picture of the sub that the characters can find. Was that neat or what? It's a cool sub. And then you have the actual place called the Legion of Gold proper. And the Legion of Gold are actually people that have been converted into cyborgs by a rogue AI. And the characters have to go in there, fight your way through these things, and eventually, hopefully, defeat the AI in question. It's not an easy adventure, and I've used it before, again, multiple times, and I've tweaked it here and there to make it a little less more dangerous and a little more dangerous depending on the level of the people taking it on. And there's also a new list of creatures in the back, which is always nice. And then there is the appendix, which deals with the actual converted people that become the Legion of Gold proper. And then there's some new weapons. There's some more information about the village that the characters are come from. And then, of course, every Gamer World supplement in the world needs lists of random treasure, because you're finding things from the apocalyptic era, pre-apocalyptic era. It's like small shaker, good condition, full of red pepper. I mean, it's just bottle, good condition, no label, contains 100 proof Scotch whiskey. Just very simple things like that. A metal loop. It's a basketball hoop, but the characters aren't going to know what that is. You can have so much fun describing it to them and making them figure out what it is. I just eat that kind of thing up. But this is my favorite module. I would suggest anybody who can get their hands on a copy do so, because it is so useful, regardless of what genre you're going to be playing in. I know that I will use it again, and if I ever get a chance to find a better conditioned copy, because mine's kind of old and worn out, I will definitely invest in one.